Hey everyone, and welcome back to Storytime. Today I want to tell you about Arlo, the boy who painted the planets. Arlo loved to paint more than anything else in the world. His bedroom walls were covered with colours that swirled and stretched like galaxies. Every night before bed, he held his paintbrush and looked out of the window, wondering what colours the universe was hiding far beyond the stars. One night, when the town was quiet and the sky looked like a dark velvet blanket sprinkled with tiny diamonds, something strange happened. Arlo's paintbrush began to glow. Softly at first, like a firefly, then brighter, until it lit the entire room. Before Arlo could even gasp, the paintbrush lifted into the air, tugging gently at his hand, as if inviting him somewhere. Arlo held on, and suddenly the wind around him changed. It felt lighter, almost weightless, and when he opened his eyes, he was no longer in his bedroom. He was floating far above the earth, drifting in the calm of space. Around him, colours shimmered like ribbons, purples, greens, golds, each one slowly twisting into shapes he had never imagined. His glowing paintbrush tugged again, pulling him towards a smaller cluster of grey, colourless planets. They hung in space like marbles that had lost their shine. Arlo drifted closer, thinking that they were waiting for something. They looked lonely, forgotten, as if they'd never been noticed by anyone before. As Arlo approached the first planet, his paintbrush started to go warm. Gently, as if encouraging him, he lifted it and watched a tiny drop of blue paint float from its tip. The drop drifted onto the surface, and the moment it touched, the planet began to brighten. Oceans formed like rippling crystals stretching across its surface. Arlo laughed with surprise. It felt as though the planet itself was waking up, stretching after a very long sleep. He was encouraged, so he leant forward and let the brush drip a little yellow onto the next planet. Instantly, swirling storms of golden light erupted across it, turning it into a warm, glowing sphere that looked as if though radiated by sunshine. Arlo moved from planet to planet, letting the colours inside him guide the strokes. With each touch of his brush, new forms appeared. One planet turned into a soft pink world covered in cotton candy clouds. Another became a deep emerald green with forests that shimmered even from space. Every stroke he made brought new life, new imagination. As he floated, Arlo realized that these planets were blank canvases, waiting for someone who believed they could become extraordinary. Just as Arlo reached the last grey planet, the smallest of them all, he paused. This one felt different. It was quiet in a way the others hadn't been. The paintbrush flickered gently, but Arlo hesitated. He wondered if maybe this tiny planet needed something special, something more than just a splash of colour. He looked at it closely and noticed faint patterns, barely visible, like whispers. He understood then that this planet didn't want to be painted by his imagination only. It wanted him to listen. Arlo closed his eyes, letting the silence of space wash over him. In that quiet, he imagined what this tiny world might dream of. He imagined gentle lakes that shimmered. He imagined mountains that shaped like soft waves instead of jagged, sharp edges. He imagined a sky not bright, but calm and dusk-coloured, warm and peaceful. When he opened his eyes, he dipped his brush into the air, and a soft lavender glow gathered at its tip. He let it drift towards the little planet, and as soon as the colour touched, the world pulsed with light, steady, serene, and perfectly content. All the planets shone together, glowing like lanterns across the darkness. Arlo floated between them, marvelling at the sight. The universe felt different now, warmer, as though it appreciated the imagination he had shared. His paintbrush, still warm, dimmed gradually until its glow faded back to just a normal wooden handle. Arlo felt a gentle tug, the opposite of the one that had brought him here, and before he could say goodbye, the stars blurred around him. The breeze changed, the colours faded, and he opened his eyes to find himself back in his bedroom, paintbrush in hand. Outside his window, the night sky looked the same as always, yet Arlo felt certain it wasn't. Somewhere out there, the planets he had painted glowed softly in the dark. He lay down in his bed with a quiet smile, knowing that even if nobody else ever saw them, his colours were floating through the universe. Every night after that, when he looked at the stars, he felt as though they shimmered back at him with gratitude. And Arlo understood that imagination wasn't just something to keep inside. It was something that could travel farther than he even dreamt. Farther than the stars themselves. Hope that your imagination takes you to wonderful new bright places. Have a good rest of the week, and we'll see you again next time.